Want to hear my biggest struggle that you're probably struggling with too? You're chasing other people's approval. But not just that, you're chasing other people's approval when you can't even seem to catch your own. You want this person's approval, you want that girl's approval, you want that girl to like you, you want this person to like you want him to like you want everyone to like you. Let's face it, you don't want anyone to not like you. Yeah, honestly, like, who doesn't? Everyone wants, like, you want everyone to like you, but you don't even like yourself. You're chasing others' approval when you don't even have your own approval. Now that's the biggest thing. Because what we lack, we feel that we will find in other people. But you and me both know deep down that's not the truth. That's not what's actually going to happen. But we play it off as though it is. Like, oh, if only this person would like me. If only if I got this many likes on Instagram. If I got this many comments. If this person liked my story, bro. It's always like, if she likes my story, she's into me, bro. Nah. It's scary to face yourself, honestly, bro. It is so scary to face yourself and, like, your insecurities. Because when you actually sit down and all you're left with is not music, not a fucking podcast, nothing playing in your earphones, just you and your thoughts and you alone, just sitting like me on the floor here, just yapping. When you're left with your thoughts, it's honestly like one of the most scary things ever, because you're left with what you've been running from for so long. You're left with your insecurities. You're left with who you know you really are. Because when you're alone on your, like, by yourself with no one around you, you can't pretend to be anyone else. It's scary. So I don't blame you. Your insecurities, yes, they're scary. They're literally holes in who you are. They're literally cracks in your self-image that you feel like you've never been able to, like, fix or, like, glue together ever in your life. And sometimes even people that insult you or criticize you, they just make it worse, don't they? So why would you want to be with yourself when you have to face scary things like that? To the point where, like, a lot of times we hide behind people, right? We hide from our own thoughts, from who we are, from the work that we know we really have to do, which is just sit alone with your thoughts and, like, actually trying to understand and break yourself down. Because that's how you build yourself. But it's so easy to hide when you're with people. Because when you're with people, you can pretend to be someone else. You can pretend to be different. And in fact, when you do that, they make you feel that way. To the point where you actually believe it. When you're with a certain group of people, when you're with a certain somebody, and you act in a certain way, speak a certain way, walk a certain way, dress a certain, like, they make you feel like a different person to the point where you actually believe it. And when you actually believe that you're playing this character, but it's who you are, then you don't have to face your insecurities, right? Because you are who you think that person thinks you are, if that makes sense. So when you're with another person, you're really just hiding from yourself. Because you're really the same person, but you're just pretending to be this character to the point where you actually convince yourself that you are. I've gone through this, and you probably have too. So if you have, this is for you. How do we expect to find something that requires our work, which is our self-image? It requires our work and our energy and our focus and our time and, like, literally introspectiveness and deep thought in someone else. You expect to find yourself in someone else? You expect to find self-love, self-respect, and actually come to understand who you are and what you want out of life in someone else? Really? It's so easy to hide. It's so easy to just spend time with other people and escape our thoughts. It's so easy to just listen to music, listen to a podcast or whatever, and never give ourselves time to really process who we are and who we want to become and what we want out of this life, this one life that we get. And so I just really want you to reflect on that for a second. Like, you never give yourself time to just be by yourself and you expect to know who you are and what you want out of this life. No, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of thought. It takes sitting alone, like, on the floor in the middle of, like, nowhere, basically, and just thinking to yourself, just pondering. Honestly, I know it sounds corny as hell, but it's really what it takes. You expect to find yourself in someone else? No. Obviously, now that I say it out loud, it sounds so obvious, but that's exactly what you are doing. So really reflect on that. Don't worry, bro. This is my biggest struggle too. There's a reason why I feel like I can explain it better than most people, because I've been running from myself for years. Years. No exaggeration. I've been running from my own thoughts, from my insecurities. I couldn't even look myself in the mirror at one point, like in the eyes, and really be able to tell myself like, hey, I'm proud of you and I like you, because I didn't, let's be real. I hated myself because I had no direction in life. I had not a clue who I was. If you were to ask me, Jake, who are you? What is your story? What do you want to become? What is your dream life? I would not be able to tell you. It would take some thought. Why? Why do you not even know your own dream? If you could be anything, if money, status, power, fame, your desires for all these external influence, like if these things didn't exist, what would you want to do? What life would you want to lead? Who would you want to inspire? How would you change the world? These questions, man, no one can answer them but you. And yet, you're running from yourself. Like the answers to these questions hold so much value to the point where I think they're priceless. No amount of money can pay for the answer to these questions, and you can do it right now. Like, you don't realize just you have all the answers in your head. You just have to dig deep enough to find it. But bro, you threw away the shovel long ago. It's about time you pick it back up. This is my biggest struggle. It takes a lot of awareness, obviously. Like, you have to first recognize that you're hiding from yourself and then be able to work through that. Like, it just takes such a high level of awareness and a high sense of self to be really conscious and understand that you are lacking this thing and you are running from it. And not only are you just running from it, but you're running from like something as specific as your thoughts and alone time and like really digging deep into finding who you are, because you have to earn it. You don't know who you are and what you want out of this life because you don't deserve to know. You haven't earned it. You threw away the shovel long ago. So how do you expect to like really know yourself when you haven't even dug? Bro. For like, it's all up here. It exists right now, but you don't know it because you haven't worked for it. So really reflect on that. Like, you're running from the work that needs to be done. Really, you're just procrastinating, right? That's what we always talk about. Instant gratification, delayed gratification. You will literally reap the fruits of your labor when you dig deep, go through that pain, go through that, like, maybe it was something that happened in my childhood. That's why I'm running. That's why I'm pretending to be someone else. Let me give you a good analogy. You need to practice authenticity. What does it mean to be authentic, okay? Authenticity is realizing that you have many opportunities throughout the day, every single day, to pretend to be someone you're not, recognizing that and saying no, and coming back to who you are and being present and aware whenever you feel that way. Because a lot of times we feel pressured to act a certain way, speak a certain way, dress a certain way, walk a certain way, hell. And we just succumb to it subconsciously and don't even think about it. Let me give you like a specific example to make sense of what I'm saying. You need to practice authenticity in the way you speak, act, dress, and in every way, and make it a habit, make it second nature. So for example, let's say one of your friends or like someone told a joke, right? And you didn't really think it was funny, but because everyone is laughing along with them, you decide to like fake a laugh too, or like crack a smile, but you thought that joke was bullshit. I do this all the time. Let's say you go to someone's like, I don't know, someone tells you a sad story, but you don't really care. You pretend to be sad. Let's say someone like, okay, you get what I'm saying, right? Like, stop pretending to like feel a certain way that you don't really feel. Stop pretending to laugh, bro. That just makes me lose so much respect for myself. Whenever I like pretend to laugh and give a fake reaction to something, give a fake smile, give a fake laugh, give a fake compliment, like even white lies, bro, it just makes me lose so much respect for myself because it isn't authentic. Whenever you speak in a certain way that isn't authentic to you, that you know deep down you're just speaking the certain way, maybe you swear more, maybe you use certain language that you don't normally use because of the people that you're with, it just makes me lose so much respect for myself. Oh my goodness, I can't even put into words how much it's a pet peeve whenever I do this, and I do it all the time, and I struggle with this so heavily. I fail to practice authenticity in everything I do, and that's why I kind of change my personality depending on who I'm talking to. which to an extent, like, yeah, you need to have like certain respect and like certain reverence to who you're talking to. Like, I wouldn't talk to a king the same way that I talk to like a slave or whatever, but you get what I'm saying. The fact that we put on, and you put on all these different masks when you talk to different people, just shows you that you have a lack of clarity on who you are and what you're trying to become. Because when you know really who you are, you know, like, hey, this isn't really me. Why am I trying to be this certain person? Hey, this isn't me. Why did I say that? Then you'll really feel a sense of like disgust whenever you try and pretend to be something you're not. Say something that you don't believe in. Laugh whenever you don't feel like laughing. Fake reactions. Little things like that that add up throughout the day, they weigh on your conscience whether you realize it or not. And so stop pretending, because it's really, whether you realize it or not, you pretending to be someone else, you pretending to be something that you're not, is really just telling yourself like, hey, I don't know who I am, but I also like, I'm not willing, I'm afraid of who I might be. And I'm not willing to stick to who I really am. So I'm easily swayed by all these people around me. All these different opinions around me of what I think is right, of what I think is wrong, of what I think would make people like me. When you really come to know who you are and what you stand for, bro, you will be disgusted whenever you pretend to be someone or someone else that you're not. You know? And I want to get to that level, but no, right now I have no clue who I am, so I'm just swayed by the wind. Easy. Convince me to do something? Easy. Convince me of a new ideology and worldview? Easy. I don't argue because I don't stand for anything. And I don't stand for anything because I don't know what I value and who I am. And it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of deep thinking, a lot of digging. But it's about time you and me pick up that shovel again and start doing the work. And stop running from it. And stop disguising our fears from like with other people and pretending to be someone that we are not. So I want to leave that message with you today. Really reflect on it. Because really, like, if you're living a life, like your life consists of years, months, days, like if you're living a life full of years where you're not your authentic self and you don't really understand or even know who you are and like who you authentically, genuinely are, then are you really living your life or just the life of someone else that you think you should be? That's a bar. As always, I have a free Telegram. It's the first link in description. It's basically free daily lessons that I pick up, little snippets of my unedited life, raw. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's first link in description. And as always, if you want to hear more from a 17-year-old trying to figure out life, subscribe. It's a win-win for both of us. Get after it.